Here we go. Welcome back to the Joseph Graham Show. Super excited today. I have with me Mike. Wait, Mike, I didn't ask you. How do I say your last name so I don't butcher it?
Fallat. Almost as if it's an ET at the end, but there is an AT, so Fallat.
Got it. I have Mike Fallat. Now we've been like following each other, interacting for the past few years. I'm like, crap, I've never had him on the show. I've had your buddy Tony Watley on the show, other people. And I'm like, I need to get Mike on. So, but Mike, I know you're called the book man and you do a bunch of stuff, but in your own words, tell people what you do and how you help them.
Yeah, so I started my business, the first, I guess, really successful business in 2016. We help entrepreneurs all over the world bring their stories to life in a book, and then we show them how to use it as a marketing tool. And that has allowed me to meet very interesting people, work with them, and also build other businesses outside of it. But my main business as of right now is still publishing books for entrepreneurs from start to finish.
No, I love that. So you help them because I know a lot of people have a story, but maybe they don't know how to tell the story or how to get it out there to where actually people connect. So if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I want to tell my story," how do you begin to even get them to explain it? Because I think a lot of times they probably forget the key important stuff of how they got to a certain point.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people think they have to hit some crazy milestone that's unheard of, whether it's crossing $1 billion or doing something that only a few people on this planet have ever done, and that's just completely false. So people come to me saying, "Hey, I've always wanted to write a book, but I just don't have enough time." And if you have a business or if you have a service or you're trying to elevate your name in some type of circle, having a book will do that because most people on this planet want to write a book at one time or another. So what I do is I make it very easy for individuals to sit down with me. We have a 4 hour conversation. We go over 15 lessons that you want to teach your audience. I record it. And then I also ask questions, just like a natural conversation, very similar to this, on how that individual learned those lessons. Because if you can combine lesson with story towards a certain target audience, now you have value, right? It'll elevate your status as somebody who's a teacher, but also builds trust with the reader if they know your backstory. And if you become better at storytelling, my God, you can hold people's attention. And then if you can aim it at a target audience, that target audience will not only want to read the book, but maybe want to partner with you, do business with you. So I try to make that as easy as possible. Typical process usually takes about 60 days or less from zero to bestseller.
So here's a couple questions for that. Do you do some ghost writing with them, or do you just give them the framework and have them write it? How is that set up? Because I know there's different ways you can do it.
Yeah, ghostwriting is definitely a part of it. And the reason why is because most people don't have the time to sit down and write even 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day. It's a muscle that takes a long time to get very strong. So, in the very beginning, for the first, let's just say 7 years, we had a human ghostwriter. We had many human ghostwriters. And I would do an interview session, and my team of writers and editors will help bring it to life with the individual who has hired us. They would obviously contribute and write, small portions. As AI entered our life 2 years ago, I didn't believe in it at first. And then last year, it started getting better and better and better. And some of our most difficult clients opted into saying, "Hey, you know what? We tried the human ghostwriter. It didn't really match me exactly. So rather than me go through and adjust and then have it rewritten with a human, let's try the ghostwriter through the AI." And it turned out that they loved the AI assisted books. So we realized right then and there that the future is AI assist. And you still need some contributions from either an outside source, whether it's a human or a computer program, because it will get it close, but you still need to go in there and just chisel it, right? Maybe it wasn't June 15th. Maybe it was July 15th. All right, maybe that didn't pick up on AI. You know what? This story said I had a green sweater. I forgot to tell that detail. I was wearing that red sweater when I was talking to my grandfather, and it was at this time of my life. And you know what? This date is a little bit off. So it's tweaking, but it's close. It's not perfect. And we do rely upon either a human to really fine tune it or now AI. And I believe 5 years from now, there will not be any more human ghostwriters ever.
No, but that makes sense because AI, I actually just had my buddy Jonathan Mass on recording with him, and we were talking about how AI just keeps changing every 5 to 6 months and getting better. And
Oh,
I even in the limited, so like I'm a sales guy, like that's my world. I deal with CFOs, CEOs, and all, and I use AI all the time, like to craft my message to help me connect better with them, to to tweak what I'm doing because I was really good before AI and now it just enhances what I do. And same thing I think with book writing or storytelling because we're all drawn to stories. Stories is our life. That's what gets people excited. They don't care that you're a billionaire. They care how did you become a billionaire? What
Yep.
did you do? What was that step? What was that pivotal moment? So you're what I'm hearing you say is that back in the day you had to have the ghostwriter and it would take a lot longer because a human would have to research, look at the stuff, try and write it out and fix it. But AI is so much faster, it's quicker, you're able to do it that way.
100%. Yeah. And I think you're a fool not to be given this amazing tool like a chainsaw and say, you know what? I respect people who use hatchets more, so I'm going to continue to use the hatchet. It doesn't make sense. You have to adapt or die, and your competitors out there have figured out a way to use AI. Now, it's not basically everything in your business, but if you don't use it, I think you eventually lose out to those who do master it. So it's a game changer. It's a blessing, and it's way better. Like you said, every 5 or 6 months, I'm noticing a major upgrade. First rendition of ChatGPT, I was like, oh, you know what? Human ghostwriters are safe for a long time. And then the year later, oh my God, I noticed a big difference. And it was the writing was on the wall. Scary for a lot of human writers and human editors. But my God, it's a blessing for entrepreneurs who know how to use it.
But if you can do the concept, so little inside baseball, I used to write, and this was just for fun, science fiction and fantasy. Like I wrote this Viking short story like 6 years ago when I was watching like The Last Kingdom and Vikings. I was just into it. It's a little side thing I was doing. Well, I'm like, I have a little dyslexia. I'm not always the best at everything. I threw it into Chat GBT and had it rewrite it and just keep my voice, fix my errors and stuff. And it made it so much better. So I still had the original concept. It was still my thought, but now it took the information I gave it and just enhanced it. And that's what it seems like you're doing with it because you still have to have the meeting with the people. You still have to get the information and then it can fix it. And then you double check. Okay, cool. Yeah, 1775 was the date, not 1774, whatever that is. But if you don't adapt, you're going to be gone. You're going to lose. Like, there's no way around it.
Right, right. So AI comes down to two things, in my opinion. What you prompt it with, okay? Like, hey, here's the directions, here's where I want you to go. So you need to be clear-minded on that with the guiding of the AI, but also what you feed it with different videos and different transcripts. So that's why it's still important that even if you're going to use AI, you do need an interview. What we like to do now is do a 4 hour interview, simple conversations. During the interview, I'm actually saying, hey, take note of this, bring this to life, look into this. So during the interview, I'm actually prompting AI. And then when I feed the machine, it's going to be a transcript. It's going to be clean. Like you're going to kind of get to the story and to the lesson very fast. So you don't kind of spiderweb off into many directions. And then when you prompt it with the right prompts, it's going to get you the 1,500 word output. That's going to teach a lesson, tell a story geared toward a target audience. And especially if you have a lot of content, Joe, if you have a lot of content out there, YouTube wise or podcast wise, it makes this so much easier to duplicate yourself. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on when it comes to even the sales process for marketing in general going into 2026, 2027, where it's going, because my God, I think it's going to get crazier and crazier for the sales process. AI is going to get involved with that. So not just the book writing, not just video creation, content creation, but the sales process. And I think it's going to be a blessing or a curse, depending on your viewpoints of it right now.
Well, it is 100%. I've seen the change. I've been in sales over 20 years. I've done every type of sales you can think of. In fact, right now I deal typically with companies 300 to 1,000 people. So different personas, different stuff, like a lot of different things with it. And I use AI all the time. Like I mentioned, I'll drop in to reply to a CFO or give me a good reply to a CEO because they have different things that they want. And that's basic level. I know that's basic level AI. You can go way deeper because you can even take, their LinkedIn profile and put it in there. You can take different things and add to it. And at this point, and it's going to get better, you can set it up to where it can get your top 100 people. Again, I was just talking to a buddy of mine on AI, your top 100 people, what they want, what they're into, what's their brand. Are they more conservative? Are they more liberal? What are they doing? All that in. And then when you do the emails for them, it just attaches and helps and gets it done. The
Oh,
only thing you have to remember is when you get on a conversation with them, don't F it up. Make sure that you know what you're talking about because you don't want to be like, hey, I sent Mike this email. Oh, crap. you didn't realize you've been sending him an email for the past 3 weeks. And he
You're
replies back,
right.
hey, what'd you email me back for? Bro, you just emailed me 3 times. What do you mean? So you got to remember there's still that human touch you'll need in sales when you actually get to talk face to face. But AI makes it so much easier. It's like unreal.
Yep. The big question that I've always contemplated or even heard in certain circles, who's more important, the marketer or the salesperson? And I used to go back and forth. All right, sales, marketing, sales, marketing. I think AI is going to take over a lot of marketing. I think that's for
Mhm.
sure. Will it take over sales? I don't know really, but when shit hits the fan and you need a sale and you're on your last couple dollars, who do you rely upon? Your best salesperson. Because the best salesperson can still market. I don't think the great marketer can sell. And so, in my opinion, you're a sales guy. I think the most important person on your team is the sales guy. And as long as he knows to maybe or she knows to use AI to some degree, you still need that one last domino to fall. And that's the human aspect that will never go away.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I've gotten in debates with people online, and I love marketers, so don't hear what I'm not saying. But
Right.
marketing is kind of like the ones that grab their attention, but sales welcomes them home because you have to have like, trust, and that connection at the end of the day. Whoever's on the phone, it could even be just be an order taker, an inside sales team, which I did back in the day. It's fine. They still have to have the, hey, Mike, yes, I saw you replied to this email. Here's the answers you need. Here's a da 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 da. Because people still want that human touch. We're not to the point of in everything. There are some stuff B2C, like there's certain things I don't care. We have Amazon for certain stuff that I don't need a human touch for. I'm just going to buy. But
Yep.
when you're getting into at least high ticket or entrepreneurs and like big coaching programs or big purchases, you're still going to have that human element you need, as what I see at least for now.
Yep. Yeah, I think anything over 5,000, $5,000 to me is sort of a sweet spot. Anything above that requires some type of emotional connection with the person they're buying it from. So, yes, I agree.
Yeah. But I would say within 20 years, AI might get to the point where they can get an emotional connection or an emotional response from you that will be pretty damn close. That's the thing that's a little not scary, but it's like if you see it happening, how can you position yourself to capitalize the most on this? Because I've been in sales 20 years. When I first started, I would cold call, I would door knock, I would do all this stuff. Now, if you follow my content, I get more from branding and just teaching lessons online for people coming into my coaching thing than just reaching out going, hey, Mike, I can help you with this. Because the dynamics has changed even in the past 4 years I've been doing this. And I think
Mm.
it's going to keep changing because, again, I'm a Gen Xer, so we kind of were in the bridge between both before it all happened and now because I'm 47. But a lot of people and generations after me, they've always done stuff with the computer, internet, AIs come in. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where, oh, I just spent $20,000. This AI gave me the best program to buy the car or buy the thing or do the thing. Um, but also, again, this goes back to what you do, building a brand, building a reason to connect with you. A book, and this is something I've heard, but I'm going to ask you, a book will actually give you a chance to get on the stage easier than if you don't have a book. Like if all things are equal and Mike has a book and Joe doesn't, I'm going to say Mike's going to get on stage because you have a tangible resource you can give to the consumer.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a total hack. I'm telling you, a hack to me is just a shortcut to the front of the line without doing a lot of extra work. And I noticed it right out of the gate. I would go to these events. Many of my clients, multimillionaires, especially early on, or actually maybe 2 years in, I started working with millionaires. But I'd go to these events. These guys have been doing real estate for years, hundreds, maybe thousands of transactions. And when they get introduced on stage, the event organizer or the MC would say, and best-selling author first, not second, not third.
yep.
Best-selling author came before, hey, dealt with thousands of property transactions. It was really an eye-opening experience of, oh my God, there is significant weight to this. And I saw it firsthand. I was this nobody online. I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I wrote my first book. I turned it into a bestseller. People started reaching out right out of the gate, asking for questions about not only my service, but how did I get a book done so fast? And then I started noticing that I was getting invited to speak places. So it hit me that, oh my God, if I had this trophy, and that's why I equated it to like a wrestling belt or a trophy. This is a shiny object that stands above so many other accolades. And by being an author one is one thing, but being a best-selling author, you already have this accolade now that the market has signed off on you as a winner. Whether it was 20 or 30 or 1,000 or 2,000 people bought the book, they signed off on you have some type of value that I'm willing to give up a resource to at least learn a little bit from. You get that best-selling author accolade. You can get on podcasts. You can get speaking gigs. You can get clients easier. You can get attention. And what you do with that attention is really how you make your money.
Well, and so here comes another question in my head because I've met people that have books, like real books, and I'm a book guy. I like the feel of a book. I don't like ebook personally. But then there's a lot of people that just have an ebook bestseller. Does having the actual real book, I'm going to say real book because again, I am that nerd. Look behind me. I have a bookshelf with books, but it has words and shit
Yeah,
on it
right.
too. But like I'm a book guy. Is there a distinct difference with it, or can you still do the branding with the ebook compared to the regular book? What are your thoughts on that?
Doesn't work for the ebook. I'm with you. We even do audiobooks. Audiobooks are consumed more likely than the paperback. It's just it's not social media friendly. When you have a book and you're holding it up, right? This is the hustle paradox. We just put this out this past week. I think it was bestseller 386 or 387. And you hold it up, it's tangible, it's real. Not many things in this world are tangible and real anymore. So when you have this, it's undeniable. And I think that you're right. There is something to holding it up on stage, on a camera, in person, at a book signing event. That's There's something magical about that. You couple that with the fact that if you give somebody a book, the likelihood of them throwing it away is so slim. Not many people throw away books. It's really weird how we collect them like action figures, and we put them up on a
Yes.
wall. We put them up on a wall just like you have behind us.
Your
And
buddy's book.
th
Yep, I'm
there
with
you
you.
go. And by the way, is that a gorgeous cover or what? Tony Whatley's the
Oh, I love
man.
it. He's amazing.
There's a great story behind that cover, by the way, if you want me to tell it. But
Yeah.
so like these books are you put them behind you because you're proud of maybe they're like trophies by saying, "Hey, I read this stuff," or "I'm interested in this." And if you do it enough, right? If you have books surrounded by you, people look at you and say, "Oh, he's a reader." There's something about
Mhm.
individuals who are avid readers that maybe they're a little bit more knowledgeable. So I don't know. When you have books around you, when you're showcasing it, it does something not only to your brand, but to your, maybe it's to your personal brand that people say, "Oh, if that person's reading and writing, they have some type of value that they could offer." And I'm willing to give my time and my energy to those type of people. So if you're going to write a book out there, guys, don't just do the PDF because it kind of just loses its value once it goes in the inbox and is never read. You want something that's paperback, you want hardcover. This is one of my and when you hold up a hardcover, I'm telling you the significance just it elevates over it elevates you tremendously. Holding a
Yep.
hardcover, having a book signing event, giving it to a client, putting a nice little inscription on the inside saying, "Hey, thanks so much for coming to my event or doing business with me." Something
Mhm.
special about that that you just can't calculate.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I've had billions of ebooks sent to me, and I can count my hands the ones I've actually finished. But almost every book that's been sent to me, I've read. Like if it's a real book, I'll read it because I am an avid reader. I'm an old soul, so like I like that whole 1920 old school look. Sometimes for like the old books on the bookshelf, to me, that's like a kind of a cool thing. But I think that for thousands of years, the only way you could get media was through a book because there was no internet. TV's really not that old. I mean, it's almost 100 years old now. It's not even 100 years old yet, but books have always resonated with it. So when people are getting out, well, actually tell the Tony story because you said about the cover. I'm going to show the cover again so they
Yeah,
can
Tony
see it.
Wadley. All right, Tony Wadley comes to me in I think it was 2018, right around there, early 2018. Hey, I'm finishing up a book. I need some help with it. And I'm starting to read a little bit of the book. He doesn't have a title for it. And I said, "Tony, this whole book is about being a side hustle millionaire. Why don't you just call it Side Hustle Millionaire?" And he's
Mhm.
like, "Ah, I don't think I'm ready to start saying millionaire and all that. It doesn't feel right." I'm like, "Listen, this is an identity builder. I want people to say Tony Wadley is the guy that will help you build a side hustle, potentially $1 million business. You want to keep it as simple and as clear as possible so they know what the value has inside of it." And he's like, "All right, finally, I'll do it. All right, let's do it." Side hustle. He was totally against it in the beginning. I was like, "All right, I'll do it. Side hustle
That's
millionaire."
brilliant.
So then I go to cover designs and I have many different designers. We come up with all kinds of different designs. Shows with cars on it and all because he's a car maniac. You'd figure he'd want a
Yes,
car on it.
he is.
I
Yeah.
showed him 50, 60 covers with cars on it, making it look really fancy. And then one had a dollar on it, very similar
Yep.
to what you have there.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep. So I was like, he's like, what about the one with the money on it? I'm like, really? You're the car guy. I think it's gonna be flashy because you want to talk about Vipers and everything.
Hmm.
He's like, let's do it with the money, the one with the money on it. I'm like, all right. So I was kind of reluctant. And then he
Hmm.
comes back to me in like the middle of the night. I remember being kind of pissed off about it because I'm like, who is paying attention to this? He goes, on the dollar, can you change the numbers to it that say 365 driven? Now, do you look at that? Look at that
Yep. I
dollar that's
see it
on it.
now.
Okay. I'm
Yep.
thinking to myself, not a single person's ever going to catch that. But if you look at it, it is so freaking clever. Every
It
dollar has
is.
a certain number pattern on it. And if you look, because it really does tie into his brand, 365 Driven, I remember thinking, my designer is going to kill me for even asking this. He did it and it looked good. I'm like, it looks pretty good. When we did the bestseller push and people came out saying, oh my God, I love that it says 365 Driven on it, commenting like crazy, I was like, I can't believe that I was wrong about that. That is such a nice little touch, and I'm so proud of that cover. And especially it came out as a hardcover, looking so good, matching his brand. I am extremely proud of that book, and it's with me right here. It's in right on my wall. It's one of my favorite books we've ever done,
Yeah.
cover wise.
Well, and I love it. You're gonna laugh. I'm not a car guy. The car thing wouldn't draw me, but I met him through a different friend of mine, and yeah, Tony's stuff is so good. It's just like, holy crap. I'm glad you got him to write a book because I
Yeah,
wouldn't have
side
known.
hustle millionaire
Like,
too. It's I'm glad it's stuck. He is the side hustle millionaire guy, you know?
well, but he's legit. That's the thing. I'm always looking for legit people because here's the problem. There's too many fakes out there in the coaching space. There's too many people that have never done what they've said they've done, and or they have half-assed things they've done, and then, oh, I had a 1 month at 20,000, blah blah blah. He took two businesses to over 1 million before he even trusted himself to go start talking to people. That
Yep.
right there shows you the integrity of he wanted to make sure the system was set up. So no, I love it. And that book's super practical. It's not just a story form. It's like, if you want to start a business, do this, do this. I'm like, holy shit, this book, I've read it 4 times. I read a lot of books. I've never read a book 4 times. This might be one of the very few I've read 4 times.
Well, if you just look at his interactions on his Facebook, there is a community that he's able to build that very few people can ever match. And it's
Hmm.
because people trust him, right? He actually gives his insight. It's real, it's honest, authentic, but it also is real. Like you said, he comes from a real place. He doesn't like the fluff, he doesn't like the bullshit. You could see a difference between him and those ones out there who just give you the weird feeling like, yep, that's a little bit fake. There's some type of facade that's going on there. He is not that type of guy, and you get it right away.
Yeah, but I love that. And that goes back to the book helped establish that for him. Because like he'll even tell stories. And I know Tony, so it's not like we're just tooting his horn a little bit here, but he used to tell stories about how he was caught up in the crap to begin with. And then all of a sudden he changed. Like, I don't like this. I have to be authentically me. And he's polarizing at times, which I love him for, not in a bad way. He just says, this is what I believe. If you don't like it, it's okay. So,
Yep.
how do you help people get their voice out? Because I know a lot of people want to stay in the middle, happy medium, and there's no such thing when building a brand, in my mind at least.
Yeah, so a lot of people struggle with their true self coming through because they're like, oh, my family, if they find out about this, then, it could cause a lot of problems. Or, man, I don't want to rock the boat because maybe my clients won't like this. Here's the thing. Number one, you got to be proud of your book. So if you have some really bad skeletons in your closet and you put in your book, let's just say I'm able to convince you to be as vulnerable as possible, but you're not able to promote it, like you can't get on podcasts, you can't get up on stage, then it's not going to do you any good. So my real answer is you got to be vulnerable because when you're vulnerable, that shows courage. Courage is what everybody aspires for. So if you're courageous, you're going to attract the attention of people. And then you're also going to inspire and motivate. So you have to be courageous and be vulnerable, but you can't put in anything that would make you feel really bad if your ex-wife found out or your wife finds out. Because if you do that, it will be this thing that you kind of put in a book and then you want to bury it and then you don't want to think about it. You have to have this drive inside of you that says, I'm so proud of what's in this book that I want to get it out to everyone. I want to promote it. So when I meet someone at that event or if I get on a Zoom call, I want to send them a copy or I want to promote the book. That's what makes a book successful. It's more about the marketing, right? The promotion of it than what's inside of it. So be proud of it, be vulnerable, right? If it's just the same fluff, here's an equation that I live by. Nobody cares about you until you help them with their life, really. But nobody trusts
100%.
you until they know your backstory. So you have to give enough value that moves the needle in their life, maybe to get them to where you're at financially, mentally, physically, whatever. But also, you have to give them enough of your backstory that they can connect the dots. Oh, he failed here. That's why he learned this and did that. Oh, he went through a divorce, went bankrupt, came back, got it. Now I see where he's coming from. They need to connect the dots. And when you're able to help them with their life and connect the dots, with a story, it's almost like the sale is half won. All right, if I met with him, I trust him a little bit more. I want to talk with him. I want to have, maybe lunch with him, whatever it is. So you have to tell enough that paints the real picture.
No, that makes sense. But I think, again, we're going back to stories, and I love stories. That's how people relate. If you're writing a good book, they need to be able to see themselves in you a little bit. Maybe not all of it, but different things that they can connect with because that sales like, buy, trust. But you have to like, you have to understand, you have to feel like Mike can help me with this. So, like if I was writing a book, I need to feel that you can help me capture my story, promote my story, and get it out there to the right people. But looking at it this way, one of my good friends always worked with you. I know other people, I believe, in my circle that have worked with you that say, "Hey, Mike is the book guy." Not that you do, that's not all you are, but that's just kind of where your brand and stuff takes you. And that
Mhm.
gets you established with the credibility of it. I think, well, let me ask you this. So when it comes to books, who should write a book? And I'm not, do you think everyone should write a book or if there's specific people? I just want your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's a great question. Here's the thing: is the generic answer is everyone should write a book, and the reason why is because it gives you intangibles that you just can't get otherwise. It gives you clarity, it gives you self-awareness, and it gives you an identity. It gives you this this awareness of where you come from, where you're at now, and where you're going. So it's going to help anybody. But who should really write a book is the people who have a business or they have a service or they're looking for some type of authority in an area, right? The root word for authority, author, right? You want authority, you want to walk into a room, you want to have some type of weight behind those words you say, write a book, right? You're going to be looked at upon as a teacher, not a salesperson. And so
Mhm.
teach, don't sell. So if you have a business or if you have a service, write a book. Then you can break down your life into this format where you can extract the lessons from your life. That's going to add meaning to your life. Now you're going to realize, oh my God, you know what? I never would have learned that if this didn't happen. So thank God. Now you find all these dark moments, these ground zero moments, and you thank those moments. And those ground zero moments, sometimes really scary to talk about. And then when you start writing about it, it becomes a little easier to talk about. So once you start talking about it more and more, it becomes part of you. And now when you walk away from that event, they say, "Oh my God, Joe, did you hear about that story he told about this happening and then this happening? That's unbelievable. I like that guy. I'm going to read his book." They read it. Now all of a sudden they hear the same story inside that book and it's one of the relatability now. Oh, he said this on stage. Now I remember it. Now if I ever talk to somebody and they need a sales guy, Joe, you know what? He went through this, he did that. They become sort of your sales force for you because they know your stories and they know the lessons that you preach on a daily basis. So if you're out there and you're trying to boost your name up in some type of circle to offer some type of value to the marketplace, my God, write a book. It will give you so many intangibles, clarity. It will give you vision. It will also give you an identity. And once people can walk away and say, Joe's the sales guy, Mike's the book guy, Tony's the side hustle millionaire, you're cutting down on the energy that it takes for people to understand who you are and what you do. And as time goes on, you maybe will evolve. But this book that you write out there becomes part of your identity. So as time goes on, you might have many books. So right now, I just put out a book called 99 Ways to Get More Leads. So I'm transitioning maybe into more lead generation than even book creation because I want to really help people grow their businesses by getting leads and nurturing them. So I wrote a book on 99 ways to get more leads. So as time goes on, maybe people will say, Mike's the lead guy. Oh my God, he'll help you get leads. Check out his CRM, check out his marketing, check out. It's me putting the breadcrumbs in place. So when people come across that breadcrumb, they lead up and they say, oh my God, he has 15 different books. One on book writing, one on lead generation, one on never saying die, never giving up. And then that becomes your body of work. And, when it's all said and done, you have a lot of things for people to judge you upon rather than just one.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're trying to grow a business, my God, write a book. It'll change your life.
No, I love that. We're not done, but since you just laid that out so beautifully, tell people where they can find you. Because I know there's people listening right now that have been thinking about writing a book for years, or maybe they tried and got halfway through and tried to do it on their own and got stuck and all that. So where can people find you so that you can help them?
Yeah, dreamstarterspublishing.com is where you can get in touch with me. I'm doing all of the book interviews up until actually for the remainder of the year. So if you want to work directly with me, let's let's get this book done. Going into 2026, we're going into online training only. So we're trying to make this a little bit more scalable, a little bit easier for people to get into all across the United States, across the world. So if you're looking to get a book done for you, right, our done for you services, you have till the end of 2025. So get in touch with us, dreamstarterspublishing.com. You can check out my social media, easy to find, but we would love to help you get that book done. Not just done, but as a bestseller. And Joe, it might be one of your other questions, but what does a bestseller mean? It means you're able to beat your competitors on a certain day at a certain time for a certain amount of time. All you
Mhm.
have to be is number one in a category on Amazon. Amazon put this system in place for a reason. They want you to play the game and say, hey, I want to sell enough copies to beat number one in that one category. Because when you do that, now Amazon says, woo, you did some marketing. You have some type of machine behind you. Why don't we push you to other
To the top.
individuals and see
Yep.
if they will buy your book because we're trying to make money off of you. And so we
Mhm.
kind of figured out that system, and we'd love for you to be one of those on the list. We're about to cross 400 books, best-selling books. So get in touch with me. You could be one of those.
Yeah. No, I love that. I can't let you go before I ask you this because you're a book guy. What are your top? Okay, I want your best fiction book and your best nonfiction book that you like.
Oh, those are tough
Or you can
questions.
do two of each. Because I know, like me, I can't just pick one. So you can do two of each if you want. But I want to know fiction and nonfiction, top two
Alrighty.
favorite that come to mind.
All right, so I'm going to start off with the easy ones for me. Nonfiction. Book that changed my life is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm assuming many people on this or listening to this podcast, or maybe many of your guests have listed that off as one of their favorites. Changed my life. It's truly a defining moment, right? When I read that, I was 22. I became a licensed real estate agent, bought my first 4 unit building simply because of that book. So that's number one. Number two has to be Outwitting the Devil. I absolutely love Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, the audiobook. I listen to it every couple years, and it's usually on long drives, and it just makes you think. Every time you hit a lull or a difficult moment, it's the devil trying to say, hey, hey, you don't go any further. We want you right where you're at. So anytime you feel that resistance, it's the devil. When it comes to fiction books, man, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I've read a fiction book in a long, long time. However, um, I just picked up a book and I really like it so far. And it is, it's the ultimate gift. I think that's what it's called, the ultimate gift. And I'm reading that so far. So I would say that's probably at the top of my list. It's still nonfiction. It's still personal development related, but the ultimate gift is probably up there. And then let me see here. Let me give you one more fiction book. Let's see here if I can pull one out. Man, fiction is just not my thing. I dated
That's
a
fair.
girl who was
That's
a
fair.
she loved fiction. She would always try to get me to read books. Slaughterhouse-Five I liked was a great fiction book. Um, but I'm a personal development junkie. So if it's not
Mhm.
true or if it doesn't help me, I don't care about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. One book I would recommend, and it's not fiction, but it's good. It's called The Go Giver by Bob Berg. If you haven't read that, that is a phenomenal book. I had him on my show as well.
Yep, I've read it.
Just
Or I've read
really,
parts of it.
yeah, I just like that in the relationship space. So we talked about book building, we talked about brand, a little bit about AI. Is there anything that we haven't touched base on when marketing yourself and getting with people that you help? Because you said you're also the lead guy. So if you want to take it on lead, we can go that way too.
Yeah, so I guess evolution. What I've noticed is that I mean, I'm an ADHD type guy. Like I want to build something, but I don't want to just have one business for my entire life. I love adventures. So I have had the book business since 2016. We're going into online training all the way into 2026. That's like a 10-year run. I
Mhm.
realize that lead generation to me just excites me. And so, we have a company called Lead Marketing CRM, Lead Marketing Company. We have Lead Marketing Pros, which is all about text marketing for our clients. I don't know. I think I love just business development. And maybe, when I don't know what you've seen out there, but I need some type of new challenge that
Yep.
puts me in new experiences. And when I do that, I feel weak and kind of feel like, oh man, this is like training again. But as time goes on, it's like, oh, that makes me more formidable. I can go into
Hmm.
any room and I can speak about some type of business language at a high level. And I don't know, I love testing myself. So if there's anybody out there who's maybe an entrepreneur and they've been doing business for a long time, I don't know if you agree with me or whatnot, but I don't know, we just feel like we need to test ourselves. And sometimes it's scary to go off into the unknown, into the wilderness. But I think it's as Nietzsche said, that to which scares you the most is usually where you need to go most. So, it's basically like Jordan Peterson. It's usually what where you feel like the most pain is sort of like a hot button of, wow, there's an answer there. I need to see this through. And I guess maybe that's why I'm getting into the lead generation business is because I know it's a weakness of mine. And I believe if I can master it, I can really help a lot of clients.
No, I love that. And I love Jordan Peterson. So when you said Jordan Peterson, I perked up there. No, I think you should. It's like the hero's journey. You've mastered book writing. Not that you can't do it and you don't love it, but you need a new, and most entrepreneurs are this way. We need a new challenge. Like I got bored with doing sales, so I started a podcast. And people were like saying, hey, help me out. And I did it for free at first. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They're not doing anything because they did it for free. Because again, when you first start, you just don't know any better. You're like, okay, I'm going to help people. And I started charging them. I keep raising my price and like, oh, these are the people I want to help now. And for right now, I'm helping people connect with C-suite because I'm really good at CFOs, CTOs, that type of stuff.
Got it.
That's my niche at the moment. Will it always be my niche? No. Eventually, I might go into writing like fictional books just for fun because I like that. Or it might be more AI or whatever. But I think we're always developing and growing. We have to push ourselves. I don't want to be the guy sitting in the cheap seats. I want to be the guy in the arena. If I fail, who cares? I just get back up and go again. I
Damn
love
right.
that.
Yeah, you
I
know
love
what?
that.
I don't know if you're a jujitsu guy. I did jujitsu for a couple sessions there for a while until my foot hurt, and then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
take a break. But there's all kinds of studies that show even CEO people, people who do really well financially, at a certain point, they kind of parts of their brain kind of shut down or shut off. And when they take some type of new exercise or do some type of new adventure, whether it's jujitsu or mountain climbing or whatever, they feel like a student or a kid again. And it's the reason why is because now they're beginning at something that is not like uh inside of them, it's something that they have to learn again. And that fires up all kinds of stuff in their brains for the first time. Dopamine hits differently. They start to feel alive. They feel
Mhm.
younger. And I guess maybe that's what I've realized is like every time you start to feel like, your gut's telling you, hey, you know what? This doesn't excite you as much as it once did. Find that new adventure. And it's out there. Just don't fall into that trap of saying, well, I mastered it. Even if you're a billionaire, you got to keep those parts of your brain alive that keep you feeling like a kid. And I guess that's part of it is like listening to that intuition. Hey, now's the time for a change. Because if you don't make a move now, you're going to wake up in a house and a business that you despise someday. So make the adjustments while your gut's talking to you because the gut is always faster than the mind.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I literally did a half marathon 2 years ago because we wanted to do something different. I had to have something that would challenge me. I did try jujitsu once. I don't like being that close to another dude. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I will do kickboxing. Here's the thing. Kickboxing, fine. I normally do with like a chair tie bag, that type of thing, because that's fun to me. But I tried the jujitsu and I was just like, this is just not my mad respect for the people. I can't do that one.
I'm
That's
with
not
you.
my
I'm
thing.
with you. It felt weird. Like I don't know. I just don't like rolling around with guys for hours at a time, right? So like
Yeah.
it's to me it's an amazing thing for a person to get into. It's you gotta love it though to stay at it.
Yeah, no, I love it, my friend. Mike, thank you for being on the show. And for all you listening, if you're thinking about it, why not reach out to him and find out if it's a good fit? Because you're not going to know until you actually say, "Hey, Mike, does this make sense or not?" It's real simple. And you don't want to get on your deathbed and be like, "Oh, I should have wrote a book, but now I'm 90 and I can't do anything and I don't have any." Don't do that. Don't be that guy. People that listen
Right.
to this, you take actions, you move forward, you become the best version of yourself that you can be. And until next time, go and actually do what you're thinking about instead of just thinking about it, because thinking is a dream filled regret, but action, even if it's slow, is way better.